Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Like they want to take she away from me and mash up me and me family. So if I hook, say what? Either move, say what? If I hook, that is not their business. I get put, say what? They tie me foot, say what? If I hook, that is not their business. I washing some clothes the other day. It ain't have what they ain't go and say. Some panties on the line. Stupid. They tell people I don't wash them all the time. Stupid. So if get put. Say what? They tie me foot. Say what? If I hook, that is not their business. She cooking some food the other day. I catch she hiding the seasoning away. Before I eat, I investigate. The menu was fried bloomers in my plate. So if I hook, say what? I the hook. Say what? If I hook, that is not their business. I get put. Say what? They tie me foot. Say what? If I hook, that is not their business. So if I hook, say what? I the hook. Say what? If I hook, that is not their
Wake up,
business.
rise up.
I get
It's the
put.
Net
Say
Radio
what? They
Breakfast
tie me
Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Don't take them on now, darling.
Don't take them on now, man. How they gonna talk about you like that?
My God, they just
Hey, everybody, good.
Because
Friday Eve to you.
living nice.
Good morning to you, wherever you may be.
Give me bad.
Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago.
Want to take she away from me.
Neighbors in the Caribbean. Good day to you.
Me and me family.
Friends and family who are streaming all around the globe.
Say what? I the hook. Say what? If I hook, that
A
is
wonderful day to everybody. Yes, it is a Thursday, the gateway to the weekend.
if I hook,
Stupidity!
business. I washing some
Hey, everybody, let me say much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day.
one say.
All that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. People, I'm your Shirley Sir Charles in your company. Check it in, yes, on this wonderful, fantastic, incredible
I the hook.
Tuesday morning.
If I
And
hook,
happy am I to be in your company this morning. And I do pray that all is well with you in your spaces, yeah?
foot. Say what? If I hook,
Of course, this is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. And of course, yes,
don't
we
take
take you above and beyond. And this is where we welcome all of you. Yes, this is the Get Up and Go. Welcome everybody to the Breakfast Show.
yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink. Say what?
All right, everybody, good morning to you. And of course, we welcome you to...
Good morning. I thought I was Wendell, but it's not Wendell.
No. Wendell's running a little late this morning.
Oh, okay. I thought I was him. I just I just went straight into it as if it was him, but I didn't. I now realized it was just an image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show this morning to all of our listeners and viewers wherever you are across the planet. Of course, we're coming to you live out of Trinidad and Tobago as well. And so a special good morning to all the people in Trinidad and Tobago and up the Caribbean, because we are broadcasting on Gaia Caribbean. And of course, to all our listeners and viewers across planet Earth, wherever you are across planet Earth, a big good morning to you. I know some of you, it will not be morning, it will be afternoon or night or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. We know you have a choice and we're glad that you chose us. And good morning to my co-host. Well, I thought Wendell was here, but he's not. And so good morning, Sir Charles.
Good morning, Richard, and of course, yes, good morning to Wendell, who will join us in a bit. He's just seen about the fishes. And everybody else, wherever you may be on the planet, according to Richard, yes, we welcome you, and it's good to have you coming out of sweet TNT. How are you doing?
Me, I'm good. I had a kind of busy-ish day yesterday. Well, busy at least in the beginning part of the day. But, all is well. And, of course, theatre is coming up next week, Saturday and Sunday. Your Dolly Fowl to Watch Corn is back. But it's for the final two shows in North Trinidad We have 3 more shows. So 2 of those 3 more shows are at Cipriani College next weekend, Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. And we've had such incredibly great word of mouth to this play. I mean, people have just been, effusive in what they say about this play. And of course, as I said before, it's a play that where a lot of new people are coming to the theater for the first time. A lot of people who've never seen a play before have come out to this play. And of course, I think when you've never come to a play, I think you're always pleasantly surprised or pleasantly
Gobsmacked.
Yeah,
You could be gobsmacked.
or gobsmacked by what it is when you've never seen a live play. So if you haven't, it's a good opportunity to see it because it's our last 2 shows, especially for those of you in North Trinidad, and we'll have 1 more show in South on the 6th of December, I believe. That's it for Theatre for 2025. So Theatre for 2025 is wrapping up.
Yeah, winding down the season now.
Huh?
And you're winding down the season now.
Yeah. Because we don't compete with Christmas, really. Even though people have, kind of told us maybe we should do some Christmas plays, like, a Christmas Carol, things like that now. You know, for families and, for children and stuff like that. So it's something we've considered from time to time. But it gets you would not believe how difficult it is to get theaters and spaces around that time of year.
Serious.
Crazy. Because you have so many standardized entertainment products at that end of the year. You have whether it be Lydians or Christmas shows like with John Thomas or whoever it is.
Yeah.
You have
And
these
then
standardized,
special awards, functions, and
you have all of that too. So it gets pretty
ministries and different companies and all those long service awards. And
Yep. Of course, today our guest will be, is it Abeo who's coming on today?
Yeah, Abeo is coming.
Abeo, I know Abeo well. So Abeo Jackson will be on with us this morning. For those of you who know Abeo, she'll be joining us in the next hour to discuss the Peace Rally. Is it a rally? Well, Peace Vigil.
Yeah.
Peace Vigil that they're having in Woodford Square on Sunday from, I believe, 5 to 7. So we'll be discussing that. And of course, with the view to encouraging people to go out to the vigil because it's a vigil for peace, and tensions are high in the area. So we look forward to that in the next hour.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Keep in the Caribbean our zone of peace.
Yep. But you know what we can do? We can get straight into our good news at this point. Let's get into that.
Okay.
African saying, which is, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. I mean, if he had something, he'd cover himself first, right? So I like to look at self-love. It is very important that it comes from within, that you have a sense of yourself, so that when you walk into an office, you don't go alone. Bring your people with you. Bring everybody who has loved you with you. Say, Grandma, come on, let's go. Great-grandpa, you've been dead all this time. Come on, let's go. I have to go in here and have an interview. Come on, Auntie. Come on, my friends. Come, let's go. And when you walk in, people don't know what it is about you. They can't take their eyes off you. You may not be cute in the given sense. You may not be fashion model size in that particular sense. You may not be any of those things, but they can't take their eyes off you. And they say of you in this incredible way, which I don't understand. They say, I don't know, but she has charisma. No, what you have is all those people around you. So think of that. Anytime you have anything to do, bring everybody with you that you can remember who has loved you.
That was our good news for today.
Yes. Walk with your back up. Yeah.
Walk with people around you who love you. So I remember I saw was it a class with Shonda Rhimes about that, and she said something along the same lines in a different way. That if you are in a room and you are invited to, you're going to whatever, and you're one of the people there. Remember that, sometimes it could be intimidating depending on who's in the room. Because people can get intimidated.
Oh yeah,
by who's in a room. But remember that you have a right to be there too, and claim your space, basically. Claim your space, which is kind of like what she's saying.
Yeah, walk with that kind of confidence.
Yeah.
You're not alone, and I can do this.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a really good news for this morning. Could pick me up. All right.
Yeah, of course, it's Thursday, people, and don't forget it.
Wait, hold on. So this is where I want to bring in the photo now for you. Right.
Oh.
Yeah, this is all part of the good news.
Okay.
That is a gentleman by the name of Javonte David, and he is a Paralympic athlete now, and he launched a massive, they say, 10.27 meters throw to win the men's F42, the shot put, at the 2025 Youth Pan Games in Santiago yesterday. And he didn't just put the shot, they said, he put on masterclass. So congrats to Javonte out of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, congrats to him. Because I didn't even know that was on it. I saw something with medals where Trinidad and Tobago was number one in terms of the medal count. I can't remember what it is. And I was like, wait, what is this? But we were number one in terms of the medals. I don't know if it was this in this particular meet.
Right.
But what's his name?
Javonte David.
Javonte David. Okay.
Yeah. So
let's hear it for Javonte David. Yeah, that's our good news too. Our good news addendum.
It's always good when you get that kind of things, especially for the sport and other areas. Things that you feel good and proud. Something about those things just make you feel good.
Yeah, agreed. So let's get into greeting people in the stream. Of course, I just was saying, though, Thursday, people, the weekend begins tonight at the second after midnight, and don't forget it. Lots going on across the planet, and of course in Trinidad too. But we'll get into some of that in a bit. But let's greet people in the stream. This is Ms. Dabity. Good morning to the breakfast team. Valerie Mendoza.
Morning, Dabity.
Eunice Dublin says good morning. Margaret Thomas, Ava Smith, blessed morning, Richard Wendell, Sir Charles, and all locked on. Have a great day and God's bountiful blessings. Robert Taylor says good morning. He says he got up early. There's a match on West Indies versus New Zealand, so he says he got up early to watch that. Slick Muddy Grip, good morning, gentlemen, and the breakfast show crew. Good morning. This is Brendan Smith. Yep, the weekend is certainly approaching, Brendan. Miguel Gonzalez, good morning. New Zealand, 207-5 pressure in the camp. So obviously some people are watching cricket. That's probably what Wendell doing. That's it, Charles. And you tell your fish and you hold that fishy story. Suzanne Jessup says, God's love, grace, blessings. Sir Charles, Richard Wendell, good morning. Love always, Suzanne, Suzette, and Mrs. Gemma. Michael Cadet says, good morning, guys. Ossie Molino. Odell Guy, good morning. Diane Payne, good morning to you, Diane Payne. Trinity Milk Kitchen, good morning to everyone from Oshawa in Canada. Marlon Motley, good morning, Marlon. Boy Bedesi from Debe says good morning. Carol Guevara, blessed and beautiful morning. Manuela Peters, good morning to everyone. Debbie Modest, good morning to you, Debbie Modest.
Yeah, Debbie's always up early these days.
Dottie Richardson says good morning. Guys, what is something in South Oripooch just started? What is that? Oh, it's raining. Oh, raining. Good morning from, this is Dana Hamill. Good morning from a rainy Cuba. Safe journey to all other nations. So it's not raining in Arima, actually. Oh, lady 8135. Well, that could be anybody.
Oh, lady boy.
Joan and Juliet. Good morning, guys. Lambert Bruce from Eldo. Good morning. Trinidad Margot says good morning from Florida. Prabham.
Yeah,
Prabha Ramdial. So I have to kind of work out people's names. Morning, all.
Yeah, this handle thing. I don't know why YouTube doing that.
Maria Tellier, good morning, guys. Garvin Frank says good morning. Garvin Frank, worked it out. Julia S. Batiste, good morning to you. Manager U23, good morning, everyone. Moing 555. I just kind of give whatever your name is. I know it's not really, Oh, okay, Cara Guevara singing. Joyce Phillips says top of the morning. CJ from New York, good morning, CJ.
CJ been getting up kind of early these days.
Alicia, I know they're hour behind, so
yes. Yeah. It's
Alicia Nelson, Arthur Schaffler, she says good morning. Old lady, come back. Pleasant morning to all. I love you. Trinity, to be back. Yeah. Well, to BK, good morning. Well, CJ, oh, nice music selection. She's praising her music selection, Sir Charles. Felix Cazot says good morning.
Thank you.
Weekend is in sight. Yeah, I'm right. Scorpion Pepper, good morning. Sunshine Machatis and morning to the host. David McCarthy says good morning, top of the day. Scorpion Pepper, oh, everybody talking about your song again. Oh, she said it was so nice, she said it twice. Apollonus, good morning, Richard Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, Apollonus. Nicola McNichols, good morning, gentlemen. Sherma Paul, good morning, Sherma. Nicola McNichols, a march during the SOE. I don't think it's a march, I think it's a gathering. A vigil. Is it a march? I don't think it's a march because I think there's something in the yeah. Robert Harper says, good morning, gentlemen. Rena Jennings says, good morning, all.
Morning, Rena.
Yeah, Scorpion Pepper. It's a peace vigil, not well. He's saying it's a peace vigil, not a march. Michael Grandison, Sankofa say, it takes a village to raise a child. Divine greetings from Richard. Father Richard chose that one as well. She said, Gordon will have to get training for you. Scorpion Pepper, congrats. Carol Guevara again. She's saying congrats to Javonte David. Is that his name, right? Javonte David. Yeah. David Gosign, good morning. Michael Grandison. Sankofa say I find these. Kenny in Harlem says good morning. Bernadette Yeats. Good morning to you, Bernadette. Bisnath Persad says good morning to everyone. Estelita Sampson says good morning, gentlemen. And just wondering where with this fish. CJ from New York. Good morning, guys, from DL. And Claire Lender Rollins says good morning. And you now see the pressure when they'll start reading the greetings. But I'm doing both actually. So I'm actually clicking and reading. So and Margarita Chow says good morning. So good morning, everybody in the stream. I don't know if you have anybody on the WhatsApp, Sir Charles.
Yeah, we have one or two persons coming in here. I don't have any. I have one birthday greeting to send out to my brother Keith, who is celebrating his birthday today. He's out there somewhere in the USA, in New York. I don't know which one of the states, but he's out there. And happy birthday to him. All right. Good morning to Callan and Kelly out there in Carenage. Good to have you, Kelly. Good morning to Mr. Billy out there in Powder Magazine. Kent in Laventille. Archbishop Ashton Clark is coming in from Canada. And we have Mr. Beeps and the people out there in Pity Valleys. They're well scattered this morning all over. And Laverne, who is out there in Mayara and says it's sunny in Mayara already. Now, yeah. And that's it on the chat this morning. Let me say good morning to the people coming in on Kyle. We welcome you, both here in
Kyle Posse.
Yeah, and Grenada and other species. Good day to you.
I just wanted to check for birthdays, just in case I'm not leaving on it. I know Wendell is running a birthday, man. But let me just check to see if there are any birthdays that need to be made. Well,
yeah. Yeah, Wendell does remember all them things off the top of your head, he says. He's good at that.
Here's Michael Thomas with well, happy birthday, Michael Thomas. Shimon Lizama, good morning. Leah Sankasing, today is also her birthday. Shakila Ria, Terence Guevara, Kyle Pappen, and Terrian Peters, Candy Crew, Kerry St. George. These are just so many names popping up in my Facebook. So a special good morning, happy birthday to anybody celebrating a birthday today. You know, have fun, whatever it is you do. Even if you feel to be by yourself, it's your birthday, do what the hell you want.
Yeah, do it however you want to do it.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
It's your day.
Exactly. And of course, if you want to go out with friends to dinner, that's also great too. Just make sure you're not paying the bill as alcohol goes up. So, tell them how you all treat me. All right, so we take a break to pay some bills and we'll be right back.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
You don't leave foul to watch corn is coming to an end. Beginning with the final two at Cipriani College on Saturday the 15th of November at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 16th at 6:30 p.m. to see the funniest play of the year at Cipriani College. Final two shows. Tickets available at K Squared Fashions, West Mall, Eastgate, Brentwood, Jubilee Railway to Napuna, Electronics Ariba, and Tony's Florals Val Park and Champlain Order Services. Box office at Cipriani College opens from Wednesday the 12th of November, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the number one play of 2025.
Of course, we're back, and this is the point at which we go over the daily newspapers in Trinidad and Tobago, what the headlines are in the daily newspapers. So I'll do the Express since Wendell still isn't here. Apparently he's having some problems with something, I'm not sure what it is.
It's the size of the fish.
Yeah, no, he's saying something about data, or he sent some messages now.
Okay. And he's at the move early this morning.
So I told him, reboot or whatever it is. I don't know where he is. But if he's home, anyway, I don't know. So let's get into the Express for this morning. I'll go through the headlines. A minute from PM's residence, family is terrorized. Gun-toting masked bandits rained terror on a family of 7 who reside in Philippines, a minute's drive from the residence of Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. That's one of the main stories this morning in the Express. The other main story, one of the other main stories, this is why I am bringing the Stand Your Ground laws. This is, I suppose, in response to what that person said. Right. So this is why I'm bringing the Stand Your Ground laws. So says the government and the Prime Minister, reducing crime over the past 6 months, and will keep pushing to clamp down on home invasion, says Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Farley plays down war fears. Of course, this is considering Tobago. If people are afraid and stressed out about war, they should come to Tobago and relax, so says Farley. So there, that solves that problem. So you know what to do if you're apparently, according to the Book of Farley. Right. Some other main stories in the Express. Woman's kidnapper complains of mysterious injuries after arrest, and $80,000 stolen from couple who came to buy a car. Midnight raid, phones, weapons, drugs found in prison cells. Trinis and Japan monitor growing debate over immigration. As narco sub sees missing TNT Coast Guard officer remains lost. All of these are stories in the Express for this morning. And I'll go straight ahead to the Newsday. Unless you wanted to do the Guardian while I do.
Yeah, I could do that while you sort out the Newsday. So in the Guardian today, it's, Breakfast Shed reopens. Apparently, the Breakfast Shed in Port of Spain, also known as Fins de Chalet, has reopened following an intervention by former government minister and financial consultant Robert Lee Hunt. So apparently, Mr. Lee Hunt got in between there, did some negotiating, talked to some people, and the Breakfast Shed is supposed to be up and running again. Nurses still plan quiet protests despite some progress in talks. Soldier and dad shot during home invasion in Arima. A lot of crime stories. TTPS already planning for Christmas and Carnival. 80,000 stolen from Champlain couple. Viewing car for sale. Government must work harder. PM vows to clamp down on home invasions after family terrorized near her home. All of us could have been dead today. Family of 7 beaten, robbed in 30-minute home invasion horror. Guapo residents say bandits put community under siege. Rowley denies betraying Tobago over Studley Park quarry license. And Tobago Lords PM's development push urges foreign investment reform. Plenty stories.
Well, I'll get to the Newsday. That's it for the Guardian, right, Sir Charles?
That's it for the Guardian.
All right, so the Newsday headlines: Volunteer Defense Force members sue state over pension. U.S. Appeal Court upholds U.S. $131 million Piarco Airport judgment. Stakeholders on PM's project-based financing. What is Tobago's vision? Morris slams PM's mammogism. Duke excited. So, I have to go into that article. So stakeholders have expressed mixed views about Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa's inaugural address to members of the THA in the Assembly legislature in Scarborough, Tobago on November 4th. In his speech, Persad-Bissessa announced several initiatives aimed at giving the Assembly more control over its financial affairs, most notably an export license to market Tobago's aggregate regionally and provide opportunities for foreign exchange. She also promised to introduce a fair share model for determining budgetary allocations for Tobago and said the government will work with the THA to establish a localized police force to help tackle crime on the island. THA Minority Leader Calvin Morris said he was unsurprised and unimpressed by the Prime Minister's speech. Morris claimed it was part of what he called the UNC-TPP's political campaign. Told Newsday the Prime Minister came to Tobago with one specific agenda: to give the TTP a leg up in the upcoming THA election, constitutionally due to be called by December 6th, while ignoring the rest of the issues affecting both Tobago and Trinidad. I didn't know the THA election is this year?
I'm not too sure when it is.
He's saying by December 6th, according to this article. And I'm assuming it's December 6th, like in next month.
That's
so
very close. Because
that's pretty close. I can't remember it. Anyway, I'm not sure, but that's what the article is saying. Morris added, right now, the whole country is worried that the Prime Minister is courting a war in our backyard. This is no longer just about politics, it's about life and death. He also scoffed at Persad-Bissessa's statements on autonomy, saying the Prime Minister simply repeated what we have been hearing for the last 10 years with no real progress. Let's not forget, it was this current Prime Minister and the UNC, on the instructions of Chief Secretary Fadi Augustine and the TVP, who rejected the very same proposal she now pretends to support. I wanted to see what, Watson Duke. On the flip side, Progressive Democratic Patriots political leader Watson Duke said he was pleased with Persad-Bissessa's address. He told Newsday the Prime Minister's visit to Tobago has brought with it some truly meaningful developments, things that signal real progress in our long road toward greater self-determination. I see this visit as more than just symbolic. It has opened up important doors for Tobago, doors that lead to more control over our own affairs, more opportunity for our people, and more say in shaping our future. So that's that article. So that's some of what happened in Tobago. And OSHA, no existing regulation for LPG tanks, regulators or hoses. So, of course, that story is linked to the explosion of several gas tanks, which have been worrying across. It happened several times. So
a lot.
So it's ramped up in terms of concern across the country. Anyway, that's it for our 3 dailies this morning. So that's basically it.
Wow. Before we get into the other things, I just want to raise an issue because apparently there is a situation where there seems to be a shortage of staff at the hospital, and I'm talking about the Port of Spain Northwest. That's Northwest Regional Health, right? And so
there seems to be some sort of you're right. There seems to be some sort of back and forth between Tim Gopi Singh, who is the chairman of the NCRHA, and Edie Stewart. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but besides that, there's apparently like some of the staff are complaining because around Christmas time people use their leave and stuff. So people are not getting their casual days and their holidays approved. If you have to do anything, you have to use your sick leave, and when that run out, you're not getting approval for your casual days on your holidays, according to a source of mine. And I don't know and they are not getting a proper explanation according to the individual as to why that is happening. So I'm hoping that at least somebody will be hearing. I don't know what their representative, which I think is Michelle Benjamin, because I think that is a PSA situation, is saying about that whole situation, because people leave their days for certain times of the year, and to know that they are not getting it approved, days that you will have, something has to be going on there. I think they are saying this because of shortage of staff. I don't know if you just suddenly having the staff shortage, or if people have retired, gone home, and we are not filling them vacancies fast enough, or I don't know what is the situation.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get Eddie Stewart, and of course, for people who don't know, he's the head of the Nursing Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And I know that he and the chairman, Tim Gopi Singh, were supposed to meet to discuss the ongoing issues that are taking place with regard to the, specifically for the NCRHA, but also generally in terms of the nursing shortages. Even though I think Gopi Singh as chairman of the NCRHA, he would probably be confined to that. But yeah, because they're saying that the nursing shortage is a big issue. You got conflicting messaging from Tim Gopi. Tim, at least on news last night, Tim Gopi Singh was giving, at least how the news was reported, he was giving a conflicting kind of statement with regard to the shortage crisis, which Eddie has expressed us several times when we have spoken to him here on this show. So I'm supposed we could try and get on to Eddie and see if he will speak to us briefly. I assume you have his number, Sir Charles.
Yeah, I'll try and get it.
So you could just try and call him and see if he will speak with us. In the interim, of course, we could open up the lines for people to weigh in. Of course, the usual issues are happening. Of course, if you're looking at the internationally, well, the MAGA faithful were not pleased with the results that took place in the United States on Tuesday. And of course, their spokespeople echo that. Of course, they would spin it in whatever direction. So that's in terms of international news. But in Trinidad, yeah, you have the usual issues going on with regard to the issue of the tension in the country with regard to the issue, and leading to that vigil, which we'll be talking about in the next hour with Abeo Jackson. So you should keep tuned in for that for sure. Hear what that vigil is about. But I'll bring up the numbers so you can see the numbers to call. We'll see if we can get on to Eddie to give us a brief conversation on what exactly is going on, because I think he and Tim Gopi Singh, Chairman Tim Gopi Singh, was supposed to meet. Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, give the man his title. And I don't know if they have met and what was the outcome of the meeting and whether he'd be willing to talk about it when we find out. But in the interim, let's open up the lines: 281-1315, 281-1315, or 299-5156.
Okay. Yeah, we have somebody online, so go ahead. Samson, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
There was a lot of promises given for before the election, and I like to tell Tobago, don't put the pot on fire. Talk is cheap.
We have somebody online, so go ahead. You don't think that the Prime Minister is being, you don't think the Prime Minister is being genuine?
There was a lot of promises.
Ms. Sampson, what you listening to?
Listen on the phone. Listen on the phone.
Ms. Sampson, what you listening to? she definitely was confusing herself there. Yeah, that.
Yeah, so I'll be taking your calls. I think what Mrs. Sampson was trying to articulate was that she thinks that it'll just be promises that wouldn't be fulfilled in terms of what the Prime Minister said in Tobago. Well, we don't know. I know Gary Griffith said that the localized police force is a good idea. I think I wasn't sure what they meant by a localized police force. That was kind of confusing me. But when I heard Gary talk, then I understood a little bit better. I think it's akin to how like borough councils and city councils have their own police force. So like Port of Spain City Council will have a police force, separate and apart from the national police force. So REMA has that. You'll have the REMA Borough Police, what they'll call it, the REMA Municipal Police, and then you have the National Police. So you have two police forces, so to speak, in the same space. So I think that's what they mean. They will have that kind of localized police force, like the Tobago Police, Tobago Island Police, I don't know, whatever they'll call it. Yep.
Right, Richard, let me interrupt you for a few minutes. I have Edie on the line. Mr. Stewart, good morning.
Pleasant morning.
Hi, Edie. Thanks so much for joining us on such short notice on the Breakfast Show.
Yeah.
We wanted to get a sense, because I saw on news last night that there was, I know you always, when we speak with you, talk about the nursing shortage in Trinidad and Tobago generally, but they were specifically focusing on the NCRHA, and I know the chairman, Dr. Gopi Singh, was giving, a different perspective, let me put it that way, in terms of the nursing shortage. And of course, you had your own perspective, and you all were supposed to meet. I don't know if that meeting has occurred.
Yes, well, we did meet with the NCRHA yesterday. It involved the executive of TPNA and the CEO of the NCRHA, not the chairman, which is Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, but the CEO, which is really the appropriate person for the association to meet with, and his executive managers.
Who's the current CEO? If I may just interrupt you, who's the current CEO? I know it used to be Davlin. It used to be Davlin Thomas, but it's not him anymore.
Yes, he left. Yes, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but a very polite gentleman, Mr. Raj, I believe, but a very polite gentleman, and the meeting was called by NCRHA, and we acceded in quick time, and we were able to ventilate our issues. I believe the CEO and executive management fully understands our position, and I believe they understand that it is the most appropriate position. You mentioned Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, and it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that Dr. Tim Gopi Singh would have made the statements he made, in addition to press release that they put out, because it really solidifies the perception of policymakers, particularly in healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine the chairman, which is the most senior person in NCRHA, is of the view that one nurse to 24 patients is not that big of an issue. And he's also saying that 2 nurses to 24 patients is actually their high standard. So if there was 1, that is not much of an issue. So if we have 2, that is our goal, that is our model. And so 2 nurses to 24 patients, or 1 to 12, or 1 to 24, by any stretch of the imagination, by any international literature, by any international organization, if they have been informed, that is the ratio, would say that is utter madness. That will only lead to adverse events taking place within the institution. That will lead to falls of patients. That will lead to mismedication. That will lead to incorrect medication. That will lead to deaths.
That I'm not gonna say people die, Edie.
And that has led to deaths and continue to lead to deaths. But I made a statement right here on your program that the only time the country is generally outraged is when babies die. Other than that, other than children dying, the country has accepted if you go to the hospital and die, we would not ask questions. Other than a few persons who would actually take up a judicial review claim and sue the authority, and then they would be accordingly, generally they would win their matters, and we see what plays out in court. So it's really unfortunate Trinidad and Tobago has come to accept, almost like we have come to accept a state of emergency as the norm now. It's the same way we have come to accept if you are 50 years old and you go into the hospital and you die, oh, that's no big issue. He was sick and he died in the hospital. Not realizing that person ought not to have suffered that fate. It had to be because of something else. Let me tell you, medicine, nursing care, drugs has advanced so far in the 21st century that one can keep a person alive even if they want to die. That is the level of when we go abroad internationally and we go to conferences all over the world, and the last day of the conference, they generally take you to hospitals to view how hospitals have been. So I've been in Singapore, Barcelona, Jamaica, Bermuda, Malta, all over the world, and you see how their level of care is. You really feel disheartened.
I wonder what's going on.
We expend in Trinidad and Tobago, a significant budget, we are not achieving the goals that one should be achieving. Yeah?
But Edie, with regard to the shortage of nurses, which you have articulated many times on this program, is there from what I saw in the media last night with regard to Dr. Gopi Singh, he seemed to suggest, well, let me put it, the media clip seemed to suggest that there was a certain number of nurses in training that would assuage that concern. Is that correct or not correct?
No, that's false. That's false. You see, the issue, there's multiple things happening to cause this ongoing crisis. Multiple things happening. One was begin NCRHA, which, and I don't know if persons remember, was a government institution, but you used to pay to go to Eric Williams.
Yes.
So they never had the required complement of staff to be able to operate for the random member of the public coming to it for services. It was always geared as almost a private hospital, and you generally would not have had multiple wards were empty. They didn't used to use. They just used to use a limited few wards, and they had a staff establishment to support those limited few wards. Over the years, well, government would have freed up the services of Eric Williams, like to make it akin to all of the other hospitals in Trinidad and Tobago. And then further, they increased the services of Eric Williams, remaining with the same complement of nursing staff. So from day one, they never had the required number of staff to service the unit. Additionally, NCRHA used to utilize extra duty nurses from other institutions to supplement the shortage that they have. They sent out a memo from the general manager of nursing saying, look, reduce those numbers, debar any nurse coming from outside to work those extra duty within NCRHA. Thirdly, the government, in their wisdom, has now decided to redirect all hires from all institutions, all government institutions into this portal. I guess they're trying to demonstrate that they're giving 20,000 jobs. So the what normally used to go through the RHAs for employment, what normally used to go through fire service for employment, what normally used to go through prison service for employment, now everyone has to go to the central authority and then get back the information from the central authority. So that is causing a delay in terms of hires. Additionally, so the list is so long, so many issues are surrounding, but even in terms of the numbers of students coming out of nursing school, you see, the issue really is all over the world there's a shortage of nursing personnel. But the difference between Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the world is that they are taking specific steps to address their shortage. Specific steps, you could see it, measurable steps. And some of those steps is one, increasing nursing salaries to make it on par with other professions. We are not doing that in Trinidad and Tobago. Nurses continue to work on 2013 salaries.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, Eddie, I wanted to ask that because were terms and conditions brought up in the meeting yesterday with the CEO?
No. Those terms and conditions, other than the only term and condition that we would have brought up, is that we demand nurses to be paid overtime. Because of the shortage, some nurses will not get relief within Eric Williams and Moncton. So if you're not going to get relief, we are saying you must be paid for that extra shift you are demanding I work. And if what currently pertains is that you will get time back. So imagine you are working 1 to 9, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. any night. No relief comes for you. So you are mandated to remain on the ward because that is the nature of nursing. If you don't get relief, you can't leave, otherwise the patients will die. So you must remain on duty, and then they're telling you, well, we can't really pay you, but we'll give you a day back whenever we could because we're always short. So we'll try to find some time to give you a day back, which is actually against the laws of Trinidad and Tobago in terms of thing. And actually, nursing personnel are the only category of staff who are not paid overtime in these RHAs. Everybody else, from doctors to daily paid workers to attendants to everybody else gets paid for the extra hours they work. But nursing personnel.
Before we go, I just want to ask you, because I know you deal specifically with the nurses and stuff, but as far as the other staff is concerned, I was hearing from someone yesterday that that some of the persons in Port of Spain were not getting their casual days and their holidays. If they have to take time off, they have to use their sick leave, and when that is it, they are not getting their other days approved. Do you have any idea of what is going on there?
I am not aware. I know about nursing, and that's a normal practice in nursing. You can't get your vacation leave because it's so short and all of that, and you have to, even if you apply a year in advance, when it's time for the date, they say, look, we just can't afford to allow you to go on the leave. So you normally have persons with 2 years of leave inside because they can't get leave. So I know that is definitely an issue with nursing. I'm not sure about the other categories. I'm really not sure because there's really no shortage within any of the other categories.
But in terms of, is there any progress with the terms and conditions and what the Nursing Association sees as satisfactory terms and conditions? Is there any progress with regard to that?
Well, two things. One, we were severely disappointed that during the budget debate, no mention was made of salary increases or commencement of negotiation for state enterprises, of which the Regional Health Authority is one. Only mention was made of public servants and negotiations commence with the PSA. So that was extremely demotivating. However, and secondly, following the meeting with the NCRHA yesterday, the CEO, while we believed we did a good job in convincing the CEO and his executive management to make certain provisions, now it is up for him to go and lobby his board, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh and his board, and subsequently, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, if the CEO is able to convince him, he has to go and lobby the Minister of Health and Cabinet to improve these terms and conditions that we would have laid out.
Okay.
So we look forward. We are optimistic, but we understand the politics and the pulls from different quarters. For instance, even in the face of woefully inadequate staff, and the Minister of Health himself, the current Minister of Health, Dr. Lakram Bodal, has admitted that we have 1,600 nurses short. We believe it's much more, but even if we go with the number that Dr. Lakram Bodal indicated on Hansard in Parliament, that we are short of 1,600 nursing personnel.
You're still talking about a lot of people.
Is it humanly possible that we can open another hospital?
Yeah.
And why are we redirecting resources, some 200 million, towards opening a Cuba Children's Hospital? What is the rationale behind that? Only to say that it was a promise made in their manifesto.
Promise
and
made,
they
promise,
have to go ahead
promise
with that.
made,
So
promise kept.
that's the challenge.
Edie, we have to leave it there for now.
Sure.
And
No problem.
we'll definitely talk with you, I suppose, maybe next week when we get inside. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Edie, for speaking to us on such short notice.
Wow.
Wow. So, I mean, of course, that's some of the problems going on in nursing, which seems to be a continuous problem, because this is not new in terms of that shortage of nurses. And of course, as Eddie always says, it's a global problem. So that's why you have so many of our nurses migrating to because it's easy for nurses to migrate to other countries because they're in such short supply, so many places across the planet. But the issue of terms and conditions for nurses, if you recognize that there is a shortage of nurses, which the Minister of Health does recognize, I don't know why it is so difficult to deal with the terms and conditions of nurses and prioritize it.
Money.
And, but it's an important component of the healthcare system.
It is.
So you would think that you would want nurses to be satisfied in terms of their terms and conditions and moving forward. So that's not one of the issues.
Trinidad and Tobago needs a boom. Another boom. We haven't had a boom for a long, long time. The last boom was when? In the 70s, 80s, somewhere around that?
Well, depending on government policy, you can, depending on how you manage the economy and how innovative you make the economy, you can have that, but
all right.
It requires something out of the box too. So.
All right. So people, we are going for the news at 7 o'clock, and when we come back, just if our guest is running late, we'll open the lines to take your calls. But the poll is up. Coming out of.
Let me read the poll because for people who are listening, do you believe the promises made to the people of Tobago by the Prime Minister will actually come to pass? That's our poll this morning. Do you believe the promises made by the people of Tobago by the Prime Minister will actually come to pass? You can start your voting all now. Of course, we'll get to your votes after the 7 a.m. news, which is about 2 minutes late. So, we'll get back to us. News is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio in Gael, Caribbean. I'm Derek. Good day. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says her government will bring stand your ground legislation to Parliament before the end of 2025. She made the statement following a home invasion near her residence that left a family of 7 traumatized. The Prime Minister said while murders and serious crimes have decreased, many citizens still don't feel safe. Persad-Bissessar said the new law, officially called the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defensive Property Bill, will empower citizens to defend themselves and their families as a last line of defense. She also confirmed other crime-related legislation will be debated before year's end, including new laws on fireworks and restrictions on alcohol, ganja, and gambling. The Prime Minister added that she will meet with the Chief Justice and key ministers to explore ways to improve judicial efficiency, part of her promise to make Trinidad and Tobago safer within 6 months. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says the issue of autonomy for Tobago remains a historical injustice that must be corrected. Speaking at a special sitting of the Tobago legislature in Scarborough following Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar's visit, Augustine welcomed the Prime Minister's pledge to give Tobago a greater share of national funding through the Public Sector Investment Program. He said work has already begun to transfer town and country planning responsibilities to Tobago, and that construction of the new Registrar of Land Office is underway and expected to open soon. Augustine also urged the government to pass the long-delayed Marine Park Bill and strengthen border security, warning that drugs and guns continue to find their way onto the island's shores. He said Tobago must be treated with respect and when it is, Tobago responds with results. Tobago House of Assembly Minority Leader Kelvon Morris says he will move a private motion on Thursday, accusing Chief Secretary Farley Augustine of betraying Tobago. Morris warned Tobagonians not to be distracted by what he called grand announcements and empty promises during Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessor's visit to the island this week. He said his motion will expose how the Augustine administration allegedly blocked Tobago from receiving the 6.8% budgetary allocation due under the Tobago Island Government Bill, costing the island more than $4 billion since 2021. Morris also criticized the Prime Minister for what he called hypocrisy over CPEP and URP, after she described them as modern-day slavery in Trinidad and Tobago. He said Thursday's debate will show the difference between performance and principle, declaring that Tobago deserves truth, not theater. After spending nearly 19 years on remand, a Point Fortin man has been freed of charges in the 2007 killing of his stepfather. A 12-member jury in the Port of Spain High Court on Monday found 46-year-old Trevor Huggins not guilty of both murder and manslaughter in the death of Brian O'Shaughnessy. The verdict came before Justice Maria Busby Earl Cattle, who presided over the month-long trial. The state had claimed Huggins stabbed O'Shaughnessy at their family home in January 2007. But a psychiatrist testified that Huggins, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, was suffering from a relapse at the time. The judge told jurors they could return a lesser verdict of manslaughter if they believed he was mentally ill. But after deliberating, the jury cleared him of all charges. Huggins had been in custody since 2007, awaiting trial. There was chaos outside a secondary school recently as students were caught on video brawling in the streets, with boys seen cuffing and kicking female students. Residents, including a woman armed with a shovel, rushed to break up the fight, shouting for the students to go up the road. One police officer on the scene appeared overwhelmed by the situation as the crowd grew. The mother of one of the girls involved told Newsday she fears her daughter could be attacked again and has asked the Education Ministry to approve a school transfer. Police investigations are continuing. In news out of the U.S., the Democrats have swept the first major elections of Donald Trump's second term, scoring decisive wins in Virginia, New Jersey, and New York City. Abigail Spanberger flipped Virginia's governorship from Republican control, while Mikey Sherrill won big in New Jersey, both taking more than 56% of the vote. And in New York, Zohran Mamdani made history, defeating independent Andrew Cuomo to become the first candidate since 1969 to earn over 1 million votes. Party officials say the results show Democrats are regaining momentum after their 2024 defeat, driven largely by voter concerns over the cost of living. Analysts say affordability and economic relief were the key issues that resonated across all three states. Democrats hope the wins signal a strong comeback heading into next year's midterm elections. And that is news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
The mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
listen to NETT Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
And of course, that is what we intend to do. We try to do and make sure that we do each and every day. The best music. When it comes to music, we make sure we play the best music for you. And when it comes to talk, we make sure we give you the best talk that you can get anywhere. So once again, good morning to you. If you're just joining us here inside of the breakfast show on New Era TT Radio, good morning to you. Wherever you may be, TNT, the Caribbean, or around the globe, good day to you. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome inside the second hour. You missed plenty inside the first hour already if you're coming in later. But we have a whole lot happening for you inside of this next hour. Let me say good morning to the folks on Gael TV. Good day to you and thank you very much for being with us on the net. Remember when we come off of the TV feed after 8 o'clock, we stream all day, every day. You can get us on newerattradio.com. That's newerattradio.com. Also on New Era TT Radio. Put it in your browser. Guess what? You'll be able to get us on TuneIn, and that gives you the opportunity to get us on Alexa and all of your Google devices. You just talk to it and you get it. And when you go up to our websites, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course hit the support buttons, right? So when we come back, continue to vote on the poll. Do you believe all the nice promises that you heard coming out from the Prime Minister for Tobago? Do you think that they will be delivered? That is basically what we are talking about. So yes or no first, and then put in your comments after that, right? And we will be back shortly. Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Your only found to watch corn is coming to an end. Beginning with the final 2 at Cipriani College on Saturday the 15th of November at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 16th at 6:30 p.m. to see the funniest play of the year at Cipriani College. Final 2 shows. Tickets available at K-Squared Fashions, West Mall, Eastgate, Brentwood, Jubilee Railway to Napuna, Electronics Ariba, and Tony's Florals Val Park, and Charmflair Auto Services. Box office at Cipriani College opens from Wednesday the 12th of November, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the number 1 play of 2025.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James. For all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box. All right, so we are. Okay, we have.
Yeah, hold on.
We have
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
So our poll for this morning is still up, and of course we are now about to give you the results. Do you believe the promises made to the people of Tobago by the Prime Minister will actually come to pass? That's our poll this morning. Let me see if I could get back to where the poll results started. Let's give me a second, Mr. Charles. I'm just going.
Yeah, no problem. I know. And Wendell seems to be having some internet problems this morning. So I don't know if he will get it corrected to join us at any point in time. He's trying frantically to get it organized, but it seems that,
All right, so I have it. So are you ready, Sir Charles?
Yes, I am.
All right, so our poll this morning, do you believe the promises made to the people of Tobago by the Prime Minister will actually come to pass? And so we can start collating our votes. So we have D-Mark. D-Mark says no. Eunice Dublin says no. Wayne Joseph says no. Fran Romani says no. Garfield Hazel says no. Boy Bedesi says yes. Eva Smith says no. Apollina says no. Dave Gosine says no. Guy Small says no to the poll. Let me make sure. Yes to the poll, he says. See, I'll give it wrong. No talk. I'm sorry. This is Joseph Clement says no. Talk is cheap. Susan Jessup says no to the poll. Allen doesn't say anything. Brennan Smith says yes. Miguel Gonzalez says yes. Marlene Saunders Suba says no. The Slimy Show says, what is this? I don't know what slime. I don't.
Slimy Show?
Yeah, well, it's not a vote. Who could all Israel talk, boy, without saying what the vote is?
Yeah.
Okay, this was that's Florence Bazi says no. Finbar Collins says no. James Kamau says no. Tanish Lewis says no. Okay. Marlon Motley says no. Bridget Buchanan says no. DL, what does DL say? Yes. Melchizedek says no. Carl Guevara says did not vote. Gregory Bauer says no. Old Lady says no. Ron DeSanto says yes. Bernadette Yates says no. Jason Samuel says yes. Morling from Tucson says yes to the poll. Robert Taylor says DM, oh, what is our number? DKB5521 says no. Florence Bazi, okay. Florence Bazi, I think you voted earlier. Okay, and Nicola McNichol says no. Beauty Culture says yes. Carla Hercules says no. Dan Payne says no. CJ from New York says no. Florence Bazi, oh, she's not voting, says no. Copy and Pepper says no. S. Corbin 54 says no. Okay, somebody making a comment here. Comment, boy. Anthony Lard, is that correct? Says no. Margaret Thomas says no. Apollonus. Anytime I see all the mark too much things, I'm not reading it.
Yes or no first?
Let's see that first. One says no. It's easier to read it rather than having to, wade through.
Full time.
Says no. Victor Tong says no. Patricia Reed says no. The Slimy Shows finally votes, says yes. Ossie Molyneux says no. Estelita Sampson's, oh gosh, she buffing people. And the Slimy Show, what's the question? You just vote and now you're asking what's the question? Stop wasting my time, eh? Trinity Mill Kitchen says yes. So that's it. That's it, Sir Charles.
Okay, so let me tell you what I have here. I have Pauline saying yes. Debbie didn't vote. Black Pearl says no. Junior says yes. Miss Sampson says no. Curtis Edward says no. Zena says hell no. Terrian says no. Horatio says no. Frank in Aruka says yes. Judith in Tobago says no. Judith, you are all in Tobago. Do we leave? Nothing coming. All right. Sean Ram says yes. And Anand says yes. Any others have coming in though?
No, not really.
All right.
Nope. So that's it for our poll this morning. So you could actually give the results to Charles. So our poll this morning was: do you believe the promises made to the people of Tobago by the Prime Minister will actually come to pass? That's our poll this morning. You voted. The votes are now being tallied by Sir Charles, and he'll give the results now.
Right. So we had 61 people voting on the poll this morning. 45 of you said no, you do not believe the promises will be delivered. And 16 of you said yes, you believe the promises would be delivered. And that's our poll reel. So 16 said yes, 45 said no.
So the majority of our callers or listeners voting no on the poll. So now you know it. That's the poll for today. Of course, we go straight into our interview with Abeo Jackson. That's Good morning, Abeo.
Greetings, Richard. How you do?
I am good. Thanks for joining us on the Breakfast Show. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
No worries. I am currently in Chow's conference room, so I'll go back on air in a little while.
I know how those things go sometimes. So tell us, let's get straight into this peace vigil that's taking place on Sunday in Woodford Square. If you could give us a little bit of background to it.
Absolutely. I hold 1 second. For me, yes. So on Sunday between 5 and 7, we the people call for peace, and the slogan that we've been using is from singing Sandra's seminal piece of work, May She Walk in Power, because nobody wins a war. We are at the University of Woodford Square, Port of Spain, between 5 and 7 p.m. And pretty much what we are asking is for people to come out in their numbers and let their voices be heard. let the current administration know that we are extremely disappointed and we do not co-sign the direction that Trinidad and Tobago, the position that we have taken, particularly within the CARICOM region, the fact that we have alienated ourselves from our CARICOM neighbors, the fact that we have co-signed extrajudicial killings in our waters, the fact that we have co-signed what seems to be an attempt at recolonization, the fact that we have co-signed what seems to be the infiltration of a sovereign nation as it pertains to their system of government, as it pertains to their current administration. Those are not things that we co-sign as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We are coming under a peaceful order. Feel free to come with your old mask. Feel free to come with your placard. At some point during the evening, we want to raise our phones, the lights on our phones, lights for peace. We will be having statements and performances from several members of our creative community, as well as certain stakeholder organizations within our Trinbagonian space. We want to say thank you so much to entities such as the Scrap Iron Dealers Association, the All Mansions of Rastafari, who's also on board, the Ifa Orisha Council of Trinidad and Tobago. We also want to say thank you to Concerned Muslims of Trinidad and Tobago, the Emancipation Support Committee, the Network of NGOs for the Advancement of Women, Trinbago for Palestine, the Warao community of San Fernando, as well as the MSJ, Movement for Social Justice. Myself, Brother David, and Sister Zakia have been the three people who have been kind of trying to pull this together. But without these other groups coming on board, Sunday definitely would not happen. So thank you so much to those folks who have come on board and many others who have expressed an interest and have said that they are going to be there standing in solidarity with us.
Yeah, I know earlier in the show when we were discussing that this interview was coming up, somebody had put a post, were there going to be any problems because it was an SOE?
No, there will not be, because of the fact that we have already, let me make sure that I get the correct section, because I want people to feel extremely comfortable. We've already written to the commissioner and notified them that we will be gathering pursuant to section 109 of the Summary Offences Act, chapter 1102. We've notified them of a public meeting. We don't have to apply for a permit because it's not a march. And we have followed the prerequisite instructions and law, which says we need to notify them more than 48 hours before the gathering. And we have done that, and we've received correspondence from them saying that they acknowledge receipt of that notification. So we should be fine.
Right. You know, what kind of feedback are you getting, Abeo, on the marches? Because I've been in some marches. I mean,
it's not a march; it's a gathering.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. Well, let me say it. Letting your voice be heard, kind of groupings. I have been on marches and in groups. When they had the Keith Noel march, I marched in that. When they had the issue for legalization of marijuana, I was there together with 34 other people, even though I've never smoked marijuana in my life. But I felt strongly about the issues. Penalty, I've gathered for the death penalty because I'm anti-death penalty advocate. You know, LGBTQ rights in front of Parliament. I've been there. I'm advocating for different things that I believe that makes the society better. But you always have people who are naysayers. Why are you walking with Keith Noel? Why are you advocating this? Because nothing going to change. They always have those naysayers that irritate me, no hell, that always feel that what you're doing, that activism, is somehow a negative thing. Do you get some of that feedback with regard to this?
I mean, yes, but first off, let me say thank you for all the positive feedback we've gotten. I'm going to get to what you've just said. There are quite a few people, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the diaspora, who have reached out to say, I'm not there in person. How can I help? How can I show solidarity? even though I'm across big waters. And yes, we also have a mass digital action that is happening in tandem with this. And if you want information on that, you can head across to this Trinbago for Palestine page. So yes, we've had huge support in terms of, and I want to say huge because it is huge support in terms of people saying, I too would like to let my voice be heard, whether I'm in Trinidad, whether I'm not in Trinidad. But yes, you are also right in terms of having the naysayers. But the thing is, the footprint and the testimony to the fact that activism or advocacy or solidarity or agitation works, because every single major change of law or movement in a society that has moved us, has progressed us further in our various society, has come as a result of same. Does it happen overnight? No. Sometimes it absolutely feels insignificant. Sometimes you feel as though you, and this is the thing about solidarity. When I went and stood in front of the embassy, opposite the embassy, joined by Brother D and Auntie Zax, as I would call her, it was about 30 or 40 of us. Actually, no, a lie. It was about 20 of us, quite frankly. But it wasn't a mass movement. And yes, there will probably be many people who would say it is insignificant. It is not going to change anything. But what did happen was it started a conversation. That particular action has been aired on almost every international news outlet since it would have happened, in terms of being conversation with what's happening in this space right about now. And the old people say drip, drip, there's full buckets, right? So it's about gathering support as you go. It snowballs. Snowball is probably not the best terminology to use in our Caribbean space, but it gathers momentum. It's about gathering momentum. So
you know what? But finish what you're going to say.
Yes, it's about gathering momentum. And I know for me personally, the reason why I went and I stood there is because, and I keep saying it, I want to be able to look my child in the eye decades from now and say that I didn't stand idly by, and I didn't quietly stand by and allow something to happen to us without letting my voice be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Call for peace, I am wondering why the IRO is not involved. Now, I know it's nothing you can do. They have to get themselves involved. But why the IRO in terms of the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, the Hindu movement, the various branches of religion, which all come under IRO, why they are not involved? Because the issue of peace is so interconnected with religion. So I'm curious why they aren't involved.
To be fair, we have reached out to them, and we will have many representatives from various religious organizations, if you want to call it that. Maybe not necessarily officially under the banner of the IRO, but there will be religious organizations who will be in the mix. There will be a lot of prayer, etc. However, I need us to understand that religious organizations are systems of power in a lot of ways, and it's very intersected with politics.
Yep, in a space. Always has been.
Always has been. That's just the way it is. So I completely understand why they may, the body in itself might be hesitant to come on board, but they have been very supportive in saying that absolutely, people who are within the IRO are going to reach out to their various communities and ask for representatives to come. So it may not necessarily be that we have a complete sign-on by the IRO as a body itself, but the religious organizations in the space, there have been members of the organizations who have definitely said that they will be on board. But I need us to always understand that religion, hegemony is a term that's being bandied about a lot right about now. And for those who are not necessarily inside of academic circles, it may be a term that has them stumped. But when we say hegemony, we mean systems of power. And religious organizations, some of whom have more power than others, simply because of the colonial legacy, they are very much entrenched inside of systems of power, and it makes it difficult for them to make clear and definitive statements about certain things. So I do allow grace for that. I may be radical, but it doesn't mean that those entities and those systems can be as radical as I may want them to be. So
right, yeah, no, I get that. It's just that you see a lot of peace marches, even though it's not a peace march, but you see a lot of peace marches from time to time, motivated by by a lot of those institutions that you're talking about. So to me, it's an opportunity because.
But this is complicated. This is very complicated
because it becomes entwined with a political. It has a political component to it.
Correct.
Because it has to, because of what the politics is saying.
Correct.
About the issue.
Correct.
And so they may be uncomfortable with that. I get that. Yes, Sir Charles.
Yeah, I was just, kind of feeding off what Abeo was saying there, and I'm just wondering if there, I know there's something powerful about when people gather quietly for peace. But do you think, in a kind of this kind of spiritual or even symbolic actions, it still has the kind of influence? I mean, we live in a very noisy, polarized world. Do you think it still has that kind of influence to more or less get the results that you're looking for?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I don't think things happen overnight. Sometimes when you're inside movements or when you are inside of a revolution, if you want to call it that, or a space that is moving towards radical change, you don't feel it inside of the moment. History does what it does and it will record it. And then you can really track the trajectory of a movement and the kind of change that it brought about. But the alternative is to sit down and do nothing.
Yeah.
And that is not an option, which is why I said what is happening right about now speaks to the time that we are in. So yes, we are going to have an in-person vigil for peace that encourages people of all demographics, race, creed, gender, age, because we want a wide cross-section of society, but we're also speaking to the time that we are in, which is the digital age, which is why we are also having mass digital action, where we are encouraging people to post a video calling for peace, a 1-minute video with an attached hashtag, etc. So that's also a version of protest, especially for the diaspora who would like to let their voices be heard, but they are not here physically in the space. So things, you have to get innovative as well, and things have to be in conversation with each other. So
how can communities add to what is taking place? Because not everybody wants to go come down and support directly like that. Some people, because of their political sides that they take, how can people who want to support it in their communities, how can they add to what is going to be taking place on Sunday?
I mean, so if you are tech savvy, you can also be a part of the digital mobilization. And if you are not, you're just, I value so much the spirits and contribution of our elders in this space, where if you have some elders in your space who would like their voices to be heard, you as a younger person can record them, post them, as well as I said, lean into some of our older traditions, the old mass, the painting of a placard and pinning it up, as people drive in, they see the descent. Those are things that you can do. I mean, we are the space of the Good Friday Boboli. I'm not saying necessarily it needs to be that, but there are other creative things that you can do in your community that will attract the attention of traditional legacy media, etc., that will allow voices to be heard. Because the fact is, this is a clear and present danger in terms of what it means for us as a Caribbean space. And I keep saying and underlining in terms of what we mean when we say the Caribbean must remain a zone of peace. This is not just a random slogan. This is something that is enshrined in the foundations of how CARICOM came into being. Maurice Bishop, may he walk in power, was one of the first people to use the term. And this was something that was ratified in the Treaty of Chaguaramas in 1979, and it has since been re-ratified, and leaders have re-signed on to it since, including our current sitting Prime Minister, who would have signed on to it when she was tenured the first time around in 2014. She would have signed it at some conference. I can't remember the exact name of the conference, but that would have happened in 2014. So this is not a random slogan. It is enshrined in our Caribbean, the foundation of our Caribbean community for a reason. as well as we cannot conflate domestic issues of crime and criminality, which is a social issue that we refuse to deal with something that involves state actors. Because extrajudicial killings of people on open water without holding encroaching empire accountable is not the fix-all for our domestic issues with crime and criminality. That's called a war crime that we can very much be held accountable for as a country. Yeah, so the option to remain silent and not sign on is a very dangerous road that we are potentially walking. And I'm really hoping that our goodly Prime Minister, if she is being misguided, I keep hoping that her rhetoric will be tempered as she goes along, but she continues to double down. And I think it is time for us as a society to say, listen, you are accountable and you're supposed to speak on our behalf. And there's a wide cross-section of this society on whose behalf you are not speaking on, because what they're doing is leaning into the polarization of our political space in a way that is not serving us, that continues to not serve us.
That's very interesting because, I was actually going to ask you that question a little later on, if you could speak directly to the Prime Minister and our regional leaders, through this vigil, what would you want them to hear or feel coming out of it? But I think you just answered that question for me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, when they talk about the zone of peace, they talk about the drug trade and Caribbean countries are violent, and that's not what it is. It's about the space, the Caribbean space, being a space that does not have war or does not descend into an area where you have nuclear weapons traversing the seas. Simple as that, because that goes back to 1967, actually. That whole issue of the zone that's nuclear free goes back to, I think, the Treaty of Tlatelolco in 1967.
Which was a precursor.
Yeah, which was a precursor to what happened under the Treaty of Chaguaramas and stuff. And so it's all about that. It's a larger context than how people confine it.
But it's also talking about us, the fact that our Caribbean community depends on certain things to survive. The fact that we are such a small space that we cannot withstand those kinds of attacks. We took a position very, very early to maintain neutrality when it comes to things like these. But it's just really about basic respect for the sovereignty of a nation. It is not about whether you agree with the regime that is currently in Venezuela, your feelings about their economic system, their president, their election, etc., etc. But the thing is, we've seen this before. This is not the first time, and I keep referring to them as empire because that is what they have positioned themselves as. This is a colonial empire and a colonial enterprise that, plain talk, bad manners, has their eye on a global natural resource grab. So they've packaged it in the usual dog whistling rhetoric where we talk about security, we talk about war on drugs, and the irony is that that particular empire has benefited economically in terms of the supposed drug trade. They have benefited in some ways the most. In most recent history, in terms of what the drug trade has done, as well as helicoptering into spaces and being responsible for the proliferation of drugs and ammunition in spaces, and then coming after the fact to want to change regimes and police spaces. We are a sovereign region. And yes, there are still countries in our region actually who are not yet fully independent or fully republic. But the point is, the country that we are currently dealing with, as well as us as a country, we are sovereign states. And that sovereignty deserves to be respected. And what is happening in our waters right about now is an abomination. It is also an abomination that warships would come into our space and we would take children onto warships as part of a propaganda machine and not blur their faces that years from now we have pictures of these children on a warship, which is an implement of death, under propaganda to present war and implements of war as being benevolent. That is a problem as well. And those are all the reasons why we need to come
we're just close to the end of the interview, so if I don't know if you want to reiterate and give your final words about the meeting on
Absolutely. Come out on Sunday. And if you can't come, we totally understand that if you can't come, share the flyer or be a part of the digital process, the digital protest action, or let your voices be heard in your own communities as well. As Sir Charles suggested, community mobilization is also very important, as well as moving past simply mobilization and organizing to speak back. This is the way we talk back to our current administration and let them know what is happening is unacceptable, and you don't get to make these kind of unilateral decisions without consultation of the citizenry. So the University of Woodford Square, Sunday between 5 and 7 p.m. It is a vigil of peace, because nobody is going to win in this war, least of all Trinidad and Tobago.
Abeo Jackson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate
just before you go, Abby, you go, I know, a lot has gone into this, and I'm happy that you identified also, some of the players, the people who are supporting. What next after the candles go out and the vigil this Sunday? Because I know it probably doesn't stop there.
No, it can't stop there. And, the late great Kwame Ture spoke about that we're very good at mobilizing, but sometimes we're not particularly good at organizing, which is where you take the mobilization and you translate it into a conversation that speaks back to hegemony or the power block or the administration. So coming out of what would happen on Sunday, the next steps would then be continuing to write formalized letters, etc., and continuing to actively speak to the administration in power that lets them know it can't stop on Sunday. Sunday will be a mass action, and that will give us a lot of as the algorithm calls it now, content for the next couple of days, whether it's via social media or traditional media. But that's what we use henceforth to say that we now have proof positive that the citizenry is not in agreement with what is happening.
Do you think, we here, and because we are close to state and we are doing, things like the vigils, and do you find that there is enough activism against what is taking place in this area, not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, because I personally find that it's there's not enough happening. But I also look at what is happening where CARICOM is concerned and the other countries in CARICOM. Do you feel that, a lot more needs to take place, a little more vibrancy needs to take place where CARICOM is concerned to start that?
Here's what I'll say.
Mobilization.
Here's what I'll say about CARICOM. CARICOM has taken a position, and it was very heartening to see when Antigua and Barbuda in particular was approached by the US for radar systems. Gaston Brown immediately said no. Grenada took a little while longer, but they definitely had boots on the ground, and they were met with a lot of pushback from their citizenry. And since then, Dicon has, if I pitch marble with him, their president, Mr. Mitchell, has since put out a statement. It's very political. It's very politically correct, but in essence also saying no. CARICOM has had a clear decision, a clear position in terms of since this entire thing has started. What I will say about Trinidad and Tobago specifically, and I've been saying this, is that our education system has neutralized us in a lot of ways in terms of our criticality and our bravery, in terms of pushing back. So we do it, but sometimes because of the respectability politics that is attached to pushing back against a system of power, our education system has truly done its job over the last couple of decades in terms of neutralizing us, in terms of making us very obedient. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't come from a very, very long tradition as what we call now activism, but as I will call resistance. We are the space of Kambuli. We are the space of the Jose riots. We are the space of the Black Power movement. That spirit is definitely inside of us. And it's about tapping back into that. But we are fighting an uphill battle. And that is the reason why you're not seeing people even being able to process this outside of the ambit of simply party politics. There are a lot of people who are incapable of seeing this conversation further than the domestic political players and not being able to grasp the wider specificities of it. Sometimes there are those amongst us that actually operate as anomalies. And we are painted as being radical or crazy or problematic or disruptive. But eventually, the more we talk, people come on board. It's not easy, but
Right,
it is a road we've chosen to walk.
Abeo, thank you so much for sharing your time and the information with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks a lot, Abeo. So, of course, the call for peace. The call for peace is on Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. at Woodford Square, the University of Woodford Square. So they're asking you to come out. Of course, I'll bring your phone because they want to, you should have your phone. They always have your phone. So it's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you heard it, what it is.
Is that candlelight? Is phone light?
It's phone light. It will be phone light. In terms of showing your dissent to the trajectory in terms of what's taking place in Caribbean waters. So if you feel strongly about it, you should be at Woodford Square between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah. I was looking at it in the sense that I really feel that what I'm hearing and I'm seeing coming out of the Caribbean, I find we are very cool with this whole thing that is taking place for all the talk that we talk about it, and even CARICOM and different Caribbean leaders. If there is, which I don't think I've seen anywhere that any Caribbean island has had like a day, an afternoon where they encourage citizens just to come out and just, show your support against what is taking place in other parts of the Caribbean. I think they need a day like that. So Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, everybody come out on a day and just in our different spaces.
I don't know if they feel, I don't know, well, I hear you, Sir Charles. I mean, I'm not so sure what is going on in
like what happened in the US the other day,
But I mean, the US they are very activist oriented, especially they're very polarized too, in a sense, in terms of the politics. But in terms of different islands, I don't know. I mean, sometimes we are interconnected in certain ways, but sometimes the information about like those kind of peace marches or peace vigils may not be. You may not know what is happening in other islands or what their opinions are on it, because you're in your own space. Of course, Jamaica is more concerned with what happened with Melissa, and rightfully so. So they would be dealing with a real-time issue that devastated parts of Jamaica, and which is an important issue not only for Jamaica, but also for the rest of the Caribbean, which is trying to help. So that's one of the things that will be taking away people's attention. Trinidad, of course, is particularly placed, and we are in the middle of it.
And the activism is very toned down.
Yeah,
against it, I'm talking about. So you get, I don't know what would make people rise up.
Are you talking about Trinidad and Tobago, or are you talking about the Caribbean?
I'm talking about Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Yeah, but Trinidad and Tobago, you have quite a few voices against some of the rhetoric. We sometimes, in our show alone, we sometimes are pretty much against the rhetoric and the violent words being used. We have brought it up. We've brought up the issue of anxiety. We've brought up the issue of communication. The media has brought up the issue of communication from the government with regard to the issue. So all of those things are part of the process of people being enlightened and being motivated, but you can't force people to be motivated.
No. I don't think you should force anybody anywhere. But let's hold a minute. Let's take this call here. Caller, good morning to you. And people will be taking their calls as we go up to 8 o'clock.
Good morning to you, Sir Charles, and to Richard.
Morning, Zena.
Good morning, Zena.
Yes. Listen, that young lady is so articulate and so bright. You know, sometimes when I see young people speak like that, I wonder, well, why we still have these old fogies in politics. We have such young, bright people that I could see could lead this country. That young lady, Miss Abeo Jackson, there this morning is one. And she knows a lot of history, and she knows her stuff. She is great. Thank you for that interview. And Sir Charles, you see, you want other countries to be more vociferous than Trinidad and Tobago. But you see, they have to be cautious and say what they have to say and wait to see. The real people who are affected are the ones who must start their show of this gospel, what is going on. We can't wait for the Caribbean to want to be loud and vociferous more than us, who directly involved and got ourselves involved into the to and froing of what is taking place. So I find right now they have said enough, because I read a lot what a lot of people and leaders of the Caribbean have said on social media. And I think they are watching on at us to see us come out with loud voices to say that we are against what is going on.
So Zena, so the sum total of all of that is, Zena, the sum total of that is that you'll be in Woodford Square?
Pardon me?
So are you going to Woodford Square on Sunday?
I will try my best to attend. Because things like that I like to get involved in. And as for the nursing profession, I don't know where will this to-ing and fro-ing end. That gentleman in the union has been on radio for years. I'm not seeing anything proper happening. That is why our nurses are leaving in mass like that when to go abroad. Because for one, even if the situation might not be that much better, but it pays more. You understand? And that's why they head out with their knowledge. So I think it's time that the government gets serious and do something about it. It went on too long with that, and I'm sorry that under the PNM government they couldn't fix this nonsense. And then it continues. Right? The clown show is continuing. We'll get serious with this country, man.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much, Zena.
All right, thanks, Zena.
I am just saying where the Caribbean and CARICOM is against all that is taking place, and we want to keep it this zone of peace. And I look at in other spaces, as I said, Richard, the activism in some places is unbelievable. And I think because they have to raise their voices against it. They can't just talk now and go back to sleep tomorrow and hope and wait. If there's a war going to break out in the Caribbean, don't believe that it's just if we are affected in Trinidad and Tobago because we are the closest, that they can go reach all the way up to Jamaica, in some way or the other.
But I think Abeo brought up the fact that of the neutralizing of that power that people have that they don't utilize. And she talked about it in terms of the education system neutralizing you. But it takes a lot to go out and stand up and say, I disagree, or I think that this group should be protected, or this group, etc., etc. I mean, I have been on several, which is no secret. I've been on several, as I said, and in terms of marching. But there's some people that just won't do it, and they will always have an excuse.
No, but I'm talking about as a leader of a country. If I am leading the country and I am a loud voice in CARICOM saying that I am heading Grenada, I am heading Barbados, I am heading St. Lucia, and we want this to be a zone of peace, and we don't, and we are against this, we should be able to organize a day for our citizens to come out, put on your red, yellow, blue, black, whatever it is, and come out.
But I can't say what the lens is through which the rest of the Caribbean is seeing this with the same intensity as Trinidad and Tobago is seeing, because we are in the middle of it. It's right on our shores.
Yeah.
So we are more in the middle of it. So it's like if this was happening in Jamaica, how invested are we in terms of feeling that we have to protest? You have to look at it through that lens too. And so they may feel that the space is, even though they understand what's going on, the ramping up of it and where it will go will probably yield the kind of results what you are talking about in terms of the rest of the Caribbean.
And that ramping up, I'm not feeling that ramping up from them. They go to these meetings. The last time they met and everybody talk against it, and everybody go home and go to bed. And
they voted against it. They voted to remain a zone of peace, and we were the only outlier in terms of our government that voted against it.
If where is Caribbean?
But you can't depend on them. You ultimately have to look at your space and who is most likely to be affected. The rest of the Caribbean is not being threatened with any retaliation,
No, they're not threatened with any retaliation, but what they recognize is that if something should happen in the Caribbean, that we all will be affected in one way or the other. So if they recognize that, they really want to...
They're not in the same hotspot as Trinidad is.
All right. Well, as I said, this is just my opinion. I just find it quiet.
Yeah. They're not going to feel it the same way.
Yeah. All right, let's go for the news and we will be back shortly, people.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio in Gael, Caribbean. I'm Derek. Good day. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says her government will bring Stand Your Ground legislation to Parliament before the end of 2025. She made the statement following a home invasion near her residence that left a family of 7 traumatized. The Prime Minister said while murders and serious crimes have decreased, many citizens still don't feel safe. Persad-Bissessar said the new law, officially called the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defensive Property Bill, will empower citizens to defend themselves and their families as a last line of defense. She also confirmed other crime-related legislation will be debated before year's end, including new laws on fireworks and restrictions on alcohol, ganja, and gambling. The Prime Minister added that she will meet with the Chief Justice and key ministers to explore ways to improve judicial efficiency, part of her promise to make Trinidad and Tobago safer within 6 months. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says the issue of autonomy for Tobago remains a historical injustice that must be corrected. Speaking at a special sitting of the Tobago legislature in Scarborough following Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar's visit, Augustine welcomed the Prime Minister's pledge to give Tobago a greater share of national funding through the Public Sector Investment Program. He said work has already begun to transfer town and country planning responsibilities to Tobago, and that construction of the new Registrar of Land Office is underway and expected to open soon. Augustine also urged the government to pass the long-delayed Marine Park Bill and strengthen border security, warning that drugs and guns continue to find their way onto the island's shores. He said Tobago must be treated with respect, and when it is, Tobago responds with results. Tobago House of Assembly Minority Leader Kelvon Morris says he will move a private motion on Thursday, accusing Chief Secretary Farley Augustine of betraying Tobago. Morris warned Tobagonians not to be distracted by what he called grand announcements and empty promises during Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar's visit to the island this week. He said his motion will expose how the Augustine administration allegedly blocked Tobago from receiving the 6.8% budgetary allocation due under the Tobago Island Government Bill, costing the island more than $4 billion since 2021. Morris also criticized the Prime Minister for what he called hypocrisy over CPEP and URP after she described them as modern-day slavery in Trinidad and Tobago. He said Thursday's debate will show the difference between performance and principle, declaring that Tobago deserves truth, not theater. After spending nearly 19 years on remand, a Point Fortin man has been freed of charges in the 2007 killing of his stepfather. A 12-member jury in the Port of Spain High Court on Monday found 46-year-old Trevor Huggins not guilty of both murder and manslaughter in the death of Brian O'Shaughnessy. The verdict came before Justice Maria Busby Earl Cattle, who presided over the month-long trial. The state had claimed Huggins stabbed O'Shaughnessy at their family home in January 2007. But a psychiatrist testified that Huggins, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, was suffering from a relapse at the time. The judge told jurors they could return a lesser verdict of manslaughter if they believed he was mentally ill. But after deliberating, the jury cleared him of all charges. Huggins had been in custody since 2007, awaiting trial. There was chaos outside a secondary school recently as students were caught on video brawling in the streets, with boys seen cuffing and kicking female students. Residents, including a woman armed with a shovel, rushed to break up the fight, shouting for the students to go up the road. One police officer on the scene appeared overwhelmed by the situation as the crowd grew. The mother of one of the girls involved told Newsday she fears her daughter could be attacked again and has asked the Education Ministry to approve a school transfer. Police investigations are continuing. In news out of the U.S., the Democrats have swept the first major elections of Donald Trump's second term, scoring decisive wins in Virginia, New Jersey, and New York City. Abigail Spanberger flipped Virginia's governorship from Republican control, while Mikey Sherrill won big in New Jersey, both taking more than 56% of the vote. And in New York, Zohran Mamdani made history, defeating independent Andrew Cuomo to become the first candidate since 1969 to earn over 1 million votes. Party officials say the results show Democrats are regaining momentum after their 2024 defeat, driven largely by voter concerns over the cost of living. Analysts say affordability and economic relief were the key issues that resonated across all three states. Democrats hope the wins signal a strong comeback heading into next year's midterm elections. And that is news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Your only found to watch con is coming to an end. Beginning with the final two at Cipriani College on Saturday the 15th of November at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 16th at 6:30 p.m. to see the funniest play of the year at Cipriani College. Final two shows. Tickets available at K-Squared Fashions, West Mall, Eastgate, Brentwood, Jubilee Railway to Napuna, Electronics Ariba, and Tony's Florals, Val Park, and Champlain Auto Services. Box office at Cipriani College opens from Wednesday the 12th of November, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the number one play of 2025.
Of course, this is where we are in the wrapping up minutes of the breakfast show on this Thursday morning. The weekend begins tonight, people. At the second after midnight. Yep.
Yeah, boy.
You know we love a weekend on this show. We love it, love it, love it.
You know, it was either yesterday or the before yesterday there was a school fight. Now, yes, you're not really hearing much of them as before, but the thing about it is that they are still happening. In Barataria, they had a big brawl again between these students. I don't know what it is about the girls within recent times. These girls like to fight like more than the boys used to in times gone by, Richard.
But I don't know, you know, remember school fights? School fights are not new, huh? School fights older than Zena, so you know how old the school fights are. Older than Zena. That's how long school fights are wrong in Trinidad and Tobago. And I mean, not only Trinidad and Tobago, globally. Because human beings will fight. Because, you know, whatever issues are. But it has become maybe more violent than it used to be. And certainly it's recorded more because we're in an information age. So previously, if you were around in 1975, which you and Wendell were, in schools, if a fight take place, you wouldn't know. If a fight take place in Hillview College, I'm just using Hillview College because they're kind of, you know, they always want to be like CIC. They're trying to be CIC. But, you know, there's all the Hillview people out there. Take that in your perfect. But if a fight takes place, you wouldn't know. You know, you wouldn't know. You just never knew before. But now with phones being everywhere, being ubiquitous, you could have a fight anywhere and it's recorded. Once people see people fighting, they pull out their phone and they start to record. And I'm not even talking about school fights. There's a fight taking place on Frederick Street. People don't intervene. They take out their phones. So that's what's happening in the school system. Maybe the fights are a little more violent, but fighting was always part of the school system. It was always there. You know, but maybe students are a little bit more violent and a little bit more unruly, and maybe some of them like the fact that they're playing to the camera. I don't know.
But I don't know. I mean, I went to school, and I guess there were one or two, but I can't recall seeing, you know, within my school life, the amount of fights that I see coming out of these things now, you know, and the way
but some schools in Trinidad, you may not have any fights at all. You wouldn't see it. So it depends on the school.
But trust me, I went real downtown, so
and schools are a reflection, you know, of where children are coming from in terms of how they resolve disputes.
I just find it so strange that, you know, that we are not getting the handle that we're looking for on some of these things. So is it that we have to continue with this? It has always been so we have to just accept it that it will always be this way?
Well, it depends on how serious you are, Sir Charles. You can't be serious about mitigating violence when you use words like kill them violently. you can't be serious about expecting a higher level of communication if the leaders of both parties articulate conflict in a particular way. So it starts from there. It starts from leaders, and leaders have various categories. You have political leaders, you have business leaders, you have leaders in homes. One of the parents may be a leader, and how they deal with conflict is mirrored by children. How you and your wife deal with conflict resolution is a template for how your children will deal with conflict resolution. So everybody has a part to play. So it's not something that's magically happening. It's happening from a society that sees conflict resolution in a particular way and is not focused on raising the level of discourse and raising the level of how we deal with each other, even if we disagree.
Yeah, so that
don't blame it just on the children.
No, I'm not blaming the children.
It's song and so.
That's your interpretation.
Yes.
That's not how it was blaming the children. I'm just saying that, as a society in the whole, as I say, if we are mirroring what is taking place in our society, then we are not doing a good job at all.
Well, though the society needs to ramp up its level of communication skills, but that's a long-standing problem.
Yeah.
And the politics is one of the clear mirrors that you see how people speak with each other and the words used, and words matter. And I always have stressed that words matter and what you say and how you say it. It does matter.
Yeah. But what is interesting about it too, with even among the children of themselves, you don't see groupings of themselves to say, look, hey, John, Richard, when they're going, they're just going to stop that fight.
No, but sometimes that will happen. I will say that I would not say that does not happen. I'm sure there are many fights that have been diffused by that. The ones that you see is where it escalated to a particular point.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there are many fights that have started and were diffused because friends intervened. But just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, as I said, but maybe just because of what we are seeing at us.
Yeah, because the ones that erupt into that is more interesting. People click on it and watch. I don't really watch school fights, but people will watch it.
Yeah.
And so the people who filming it, hoping to get some traction and that their video goes viral. So that's where we are. So how do we navigate all of that? How do we navigate responsible?
Yeah,
responsible use of technology. Is that even a course in school? How do we navigate the issue of manners and the social contract that we have with the rest of society? To know that you shouldn't just finish drinking something and pitch it. I see people do that all the time. And when I see it, I say, obviously, the school system has failed us. Because those basic things, the basic things that you were taught when we were growing up, if you're in a bus and you're standing up and an old lady comes in and you give up your seat, those simple things of human decency, where has that gone? Are you teaching your children that, Sir Charles? Are people watching this show teaching their children that? Or has that gone out of the window because everybody's so busy trying to survive? Those things are just out the window.
So we are not recognizing that the little things that we are not doing is contributing to all of those things.
Contributing to how we deal
the bigger
with each
picture
other.
outside there.
Contributing to how we deal with each other.
Yeah. We need more God in this society, Richard.
Well, I think we need more laughter, which is what you will get next week, Saturday and Sunday, which you don't leave foul to watch Corn at Cipriani College. The final 2 shows in North Trinidad, next week, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. I could segue to that anytime.
Very good. You're trained. Over the years, you're well trained.
So tickets are available at all the usual outlets: K-Squared Fashions outlets in West Mall, Eastgate and Brentwood Mall, Jubilee Railway, Tunapuna, Electronics, Arima, Sharpley Auto Services, and Antoni's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza for those of you in that area. Of course, the box office at Cipriani College opens next week, Wednesday the 12th. It will open at Cipriani College, so you can get tickets there next week, Wednesday. But all those other outlets I just mentioned have their tickets now. You can also purchase tickets online. Check RSRR Productions Theatre on social media, whether it be Facebook, Insta, or TikTok. You can get the information of how to purchase your tickets online. Well, this is where we wrap up the show on this wonderful Thursday morning. Of course, the weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. Remember that New Era TT Radio continues on newerattradio.com and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. You can look for it and get your smart device acquainted with it, so you can listen to the excellent programming throughout the day. Have a fantastic day, Sir Charles.
Yes,
and our listeners and viewers, wherever you are, have a fantastic day. The weekend begins tonight. You have been watching.
Wait. Hold on. She shook her finger. And we do apologize for Wendell not able to connect with us.
You have been watching the breakfast show. You interrupt me for that?
Yes. He had to get up very early to deal with the neighbor's cat that was coming after his fish. And then the internet wasn't working and all that sort of thing. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get the whole story.
Wendell always having a problem with pussycats and fish. You'll leave it right there. The breakfast show, people. Have a great day.
Yeah.